Hey everyone, Josh Rugger, Dan Scoff. We're in the Weather Lab. We're doing this the old school way. You might have been wondering why we haven't been on Facebook Live in a little while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Well, there's a good reason.
Yes.
So we did a computer upgrade. And sometimes when you do upgrades, some things aren't configured the way that you need them to be. And so we're still working on getting this configuration set up.
It's a long process. There's a lot of different bells and whistles.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, because we've got to have several feeds coming into the computers. The computer graphics card have to recognize this. You have to basically put that within OBS, and so we can do through StreamYard, and then we can broadcast that out, and then we can switch to what we call the production control room. There's a lot going on, so we're just talking a little bit because we want you to get the information on what's happening on Friday. So we're kind of doing this the good old school way.
Very old school.
This is old school, but at least it's still.
Yes.
It's not like super shaky. So we got a little bit of we got our gimbal working here.
Like
so
my old storm chasing videos.
Now I want you. We're going to have a lot of comments, and we're going to answer those. But first, let us give you our spiel here, our little breakdown of everything.
The quick and easy.
So first of all, I'm going to hand this after we flip the camera around, which takes a long time on this. So you got to go to settings, you got to go to camera. They should just make this one button, but they don't. And so now we go from here, and now we could go there. There we go.
Alrighty.
That really needs to be one button, but
It really
they still haven't done that. All right, so here we go. Welcome to our Weather Lab. These are our new systems. They don't look new, but when you look at the control, we should put them back in the rack room and then get to see all the equipment, because it is just a nightmare. So come with me over here and let's talk about this. So first of all, we're trying to get everything back working, because we know that this system coming in tomorrow, you need to pay attention to. Number one, storms are likely. They are expected. You should expect them. They are coming in. I know there's a lot of things about how, the football games have been rescheduled. Why? Why did they do that? Why would they do that so far ahead of time? There's no doubt rain is coming. We got a 100% chance of rain, and we'll go through all that. The likely timing of this is a window that's as early as 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it goes until 1 a.m. Saturday morning. Now, 1 a.m. might be a little bit on the late end. All this stuff could be out by midnight and even a little earlier. But sometimes with these systems, they develop what's called stratiform rain behind the line, and the models don't handle that very well. So damaging winds, of course, the most likely. That's because if you were to be a betting man and you would say, what's the most likely threat? Well, damaging winds is a lot more common than tornadoes. However, with this system, strong wind shear does equal tornadoes. The wind shear, as we'll go through some of the soundings and stuff, it looks really impressive. So I can tell you firsthand, the wind shear is in place.
And yesterday we had a question mark by that tornado.
We did. We had a question mark by it. We removed that question mark. But I will say this, and how is the lighting? Is it okay?
I think the lighting's good.
Back up just a little bit. How's that? Is that better lighting?
It looks better.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the deal. First of all, these are very real. You don't have to adjust your camera. You don't have to adjust your device, if you will. These are very real underneath the eyes.
This man's a grinder, y'all. He has been working hard the last 2 nights.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's what I was going to say is the wind shear will equal tornadoes. But what I wanted to show you, the one question is the instability. How much instability will come back? That is the one thing that we don't know. If that instability comes back and we wake up tomorrow and the models are showing 1 to 2,000 CAPE over us, batten down the hatches, fellas, ladies and gents, and maybe boys and girls if you're watching. So here's what we got. Day 2 convective outlook. Something that happened yesterday, which is extremely rare. By the way, when we were upgrading all the equipment.
Literally as it was happening.
And having an elections rehearsal in the studio. Okay, so all this is happening.
We saw that and we thought it was an error. Like, really, like when the update came out and everything, I was like, that never happens.
So I said, wait a minute. We were just under a marginal threat.
Yeah.
Which we kind of questioned. I thought it was a little underdone. And then sure enough, boom, enhanced risk pops out. And that happened in the middle of the day yesterday on the day 3 outlook. The last time that happened was in mid-December of 2011. And then before that, I don't even think there was another time.
That's unbelievable.
So
it's very rare.
And that was only updated from general thunderstorms to a marginal risk. This went from a marginal to an enhanced. So what are the threats? 3 p.m., 1 a.m. Saturday, that's your time window. I'll give you a little better idea on that. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes will all be possible. Who will have the better chance of tornadoes? It all depends on where the instability is. At the moment, it looks like isolated cells and instability will be greatest in the river valley. So that's why this is a level 3. So if we break down the individual threats, which I'll show you here in just a bit, this is what we're looking at for the storm timeline. So in northwest Arkansas, you might hear 5 o'clock chance of storms. Well, those 5 o'clock storms could be west of our I-49 corridor. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen at 5 o'clock right where you live. I'll show you the future radar coming up in just a bit. But from 5 to 9, that's going to be, I think, the heart of this severe weather event. In the evening, if there were high school football games, right during those, and we're talking lots of storms. So many, many severe. And you'll notice 9 p.m. to midnight, thunderstorms moving in the eastern part of our weather coverage area.
One thing we do know tomorrow as well, there is basically no cap. So this radar is going to light up like a Christmas tree. These storms are going to be going boom, 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 boom.
Now that can do two things. No cap is where you have that warm layer area of loft that prevents thunderstorm development. If in fact the cap isn't in place, then thunderstorms could go up everywhere. And if that happens, then we cool down the temperatures.
Yes.
And that lessens the instability, which lessens the tornado threat, which lessens the severe weather threat. That's one scenario. Number 2 is we get warm during the afternoon.
Peaks of sun.
Peaks of sunshine. We hit the mid to upper 70s, which is way warmer than what a lot of models show. So therefore, you got to bump up that instability. Then you get isolated cells that tap into that environment, and now you got more tornadoes. So that's all about convective mode. So if you notice this little hatched area right here in the river valley, that is EF2 to EF5 tornadoes. Some of those could be significant. Significant means strong to violent. So the probability of seeing a strong to violent tornado is greater in that hatched area than your typical tornado threat. So I hope that makes sense. Here's the day 2 convective outlook, damaging wind potential. Damaging wind gusts up to 80 miles an hour, which, by the way, could do just as much damage as an EF0 tornado.
And in a larger area, too, because
Yes.
you got a lot of straight line winds along that line.
Yeah, and don't be fooled. Medium, we're still in the threat.
That's a high risk.
And then you've got, now careful.
That's a higher risk.
Higher probability.
Yes.
Don't say risk, because then that, people might think it's a risk. That it's a common mistake. I even do it too. Hailstones up to quarter size. That's going to probably be out of everything the lesser threat, and that's because there's not as much instability.
The probability of that is less.
That's right. Probability is less. But here's another thing, though, too. Sometimes you don't have a lot of instability, but you have so much dynamics, you have so much lift with these storms that you can have bigger hail, even though you don't have the instability.
And those initial cells will have the best chance for those big time hailstones too.
Yeah, whenever
Especially-
they're isolated, they have
Yes.
more of an environment to work with. Now, on top of all of this, you've got the potential for really heavy rain. So we have a thing in the atmosphere called precipitable water. So it would be like essentially how soaked is your sponge if you're doing your car wash. So a great way to think of this, I have a bucket of water. I take the sponge, I dunk it underneath the water. I let it soak up all that water and then pull that out without wringing it out. That is a lot of precipitable water. Typically around 1.75 is off the charts for this time of the year. And what do we have, Josh? For some
1.5, 1.71. That was the highest I saw.
So 1.71, which is very high for this time of the year. So that means if we take all the rain out of the column, that's going to produce about 1.7 inches of rain for just that column. That doesn't even include the other parts of the storm. So these storms will have heavy rainfall rates and the potential for heavy rain. You're like, what storms? I haven't seen any storms. Well, first of all, look at this. You have streaked clouds. These are streaked cirrus. You can also see the lift ahead of it. So this is what we mean by the strength of this system. The lift ahead could be stronger than what the models show. Therefore, there could be storms earlier than what the future tracks show.
And I'll tell you one thing too. When I was doing the 7 o'clock news, the sun was just setting, but we were seeing those clouds streaking in. They were moving fast.
They're moving.
I mean, you could see it booking.
And rightfully so, because guess what? We got the low-level jet.
Look at those dudes.
Low-level jet, it's streaming in. These are dew points in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance that lower 70s dew points easily make it into southeast Oklahoma, which the models didn't have a clue on.
No.
Yesterday, the day before, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, everybody's like, oh, it doesn't look so good. The instability is not there. The moisture isn't there. Well, guess what? Don't ever underestimate the low-level jet. That's a saying that I have.
It's like a channel.
It can surprise you.
Yes.
And knows how fast that's moving in.
And the reason why I love the dew point map so much is
Yeah.
because it shows that the atmosphere is like a fluid.
Yep.
You can see the movement of those dew points from the Gulf.
Which, by the way, I will show you.
Yes.
But first of all, let's show you this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what everybody's been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
But you've already saw the threats. You already saw the potential. Now, let's break this down hour by hour. So the rapid refresh model, look at this explosion of thunderstorms. Now, is this the latest one?
This has to be the latest
This
one.
has to be the latest one. So by 4 or 5 o'clock, eastern Oklahoma, look at all these cells. See those little curls right there? Even the model is picking up on the potential for rotation. These storms will go up rotating because of the wind shear, which is so favorable. The only question is what is that low-level instability going to be? Because a lot of models are showing western Benton, western Washington County, the threat is off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get east of that a little bit, and it drops off significantly.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what's going to be the case? So look at this. Thunderstorms now 5:30, an explosive thunderstorm development to the west. Now here's the problem. These are individual cells. This is not a solid line. Because of the amount of lift and the lack of a cap, we're going to get thunderstorm development. And I think it's going to be fairly semi-discrete. And the semi-discrete will have the potential to rotate and produce the more significant severe weather.
You know what the best comparison I can make with that, what you were talking about previously?
Yeah.
Between western Benton County and eastern Benton County. Think of it almost like in the wintertime, the 32-degree line.
Yeah.
The haves and the have-nots when it comes to snow. It's kind of similar here. It's a difficult forecast in some ways.
It's always the have-nots. It's kind of like or a total solar eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
You're either in the line of totality where you have the ingredients, or if you're outside of it, you don't see it.
Exactly.
So anyways, here's the thunderstorms popping up. Now look at this. 7 o'clock, thunderstorms just erupting all over. So clearly this is a pretty active day. Can you imagine trying to put a high school football game on with this type of weather? It's not
impossible.
a good idea. All these little cells right here will have the potential to rotate. And then, look at what happens now. The model before was showing all this to move east. Now it's starting to pick up on that stratiform rain behind it, which, by the way, probably won't last until 1 o'clock in the morning. But look at the way that flings out. I want to go back and I want to show you that at the very end. This is where the energy flings in. This is what a negatively tilted trough does. So you're going to see the storms popping up ahead of it. Now the energy that's coming in, and we talked about this before, is like that softball pitcher winding up the arm and then throwing it forward. That's exactly what's happening here. Watch this. Boom! You just see that energy fling out. There might be a few showers in the early morning hours on Saturday, but it is going to be chilly.
Yes.
Behind this system, you will need the jacket. And then for the Razorback game, the sun will come out because the clouds will clear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to happen pretty rapidly because this storm is on the move. So very, very progressive system. So what are those threats? Well, we're putting tornado in the medium category. I know some people are seeing it very low, and there's a reason for that because there is a question as to whether the instability returns. But overall, in the area, I think that deserves to be in the medium.
Mm-hmm.
If the Cape was around 2,000, 3,000 joules per kilogram,
it would
we would have that way up there.
But the thing is difference between spring and fall. Yeah. Spring, the Cape probably wouldn't even be something that we're even talking about because that's just a given. During the fall, it's a little bit harder to have more instability.
It is, but those high shear, low Cape events can fool a lot of people.
It can produce
the Branson tornado that happened. That was high shear, low Cape. The tornado that happened, Cincinnati tornado, that was high shear, that was low Cape.
March 30th.
March 30th. High shear, low cape.
Mm-hmm.
Low cape doesn't necessarily mean no tornado.
You don't need a whole lot.
As long as you have that wind shear, which is extremely favorable.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the heavy rain corridor. You can see some pockets of 2.5 to 3 inches. That's right over us. Now notice that the tracking of this is in the river valley, so that's something to watch. So I don't know if you have this or not, but if you don't, you need to download our Weather Authority app, because we're gonna be able to tell you when we go live. Hopefully, to get everything working. We still have some stuff to do there.
We'll work on that tonight.
So what's the exact timing of this? Well, we got mid-70s, and then you'll notice in the early morning hours, we've got 100% chance of storms. In the late evening and in the early morning, it drops off dramatically. So it literally is like climbing a mountain. Here's the line coming through with the individual cells. Now, there is some uncertainty exactly when it moves in, but this is a real good idea of the timing. So that's your timing. I'm sure we're getting a lot of questions. We'll kind of zip through them. Look at this. We're at 70 degrees right now. You know, remember the models earlier in the week? Last week, I was saying we're going to be way warmer.
And you warned me about that, because I had originally had temperatures in the middle 50s for lows for around this time.
Yeah.
You know, earlier in the week, you said you need to raise those temperatures. And guess what? Look at this. Around 70 degrees at 9:29 p.m. in early November.
Yeah. And so that tells you that you can see the surge. By the way, look at the front. That is
that is a powerful front.
28 in Denver, 65 in Dodge City. So Dodge City already saw the front. Look at how much colder it is from this time yesterday, and look at how much warmer it is in Fayetteville.
You want to play spot the cold front?
Yeah, exactly. Right here.
Yes, sir.
So the drive line probably is right here too.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that's starting to develop. Look at this beast of a system. So number one, there's the upper level spin. There's the energy that's flinging around. This is still digging slightly, but it is ejecting. So why did the timing of all this change? Because originally this was looking like the jet stream was going to come in, cut this off, and then it was going to slowly move east. Not the case anymore. It's really, honestly, the more progressive systems that have just a little more oomph instead of the closed lows. And so that's why this system could get pretty nasty. So for tonight, look at that. Mid to upper 60s.
That's crazy.
We may not get down to 62.
Yes, that's on the very low end.
And it will be breezy. And depending on how windy it gets, by the way, there's leaves just flying off the trees everywhere. So here's a look at that alert day. And then we're going to kind of dive into the models if you want to tune in and stay tuned in. But we do have to do some severe weather practice too. So we're going to be doing that here shortly, because we have some time before the 10 o'clock news. Well, the 10 o'clock news is already done.
After the game.
Yeah.
After the baseball game on Fox.
Well, the 10 o'clock news is coming up. So make sure you tune in to that. But we're going to be on after the World Series. But there it is, an alert day. Now, if you're new to this area, we only reserve this for the more significant storms. We don't reserve it for every thunderstorm. We don't reserve it for every severe weather event, honestly. These are the higher end severe weather events. So starts in the PM, 60% in the early morning hours. If you download our app and you see rain on Saturday, don't be fooled. It is not Saturday afternoon and evening. Everything is long gone. Now, there might be some cloud cover and mist that lingers in the morning, and it'll be very breezy and it'll be very chilly. And that's another reason why this system means business. Saturday in the upper 50s in Northwest Arkansas, and then Sunday 70 degrees. Don't forget to change those smoke detector batteries and also set those clocks back an hour.
Set those oven clocks and those car clocks.
Yeah, because everything else changed. We used to have a daylight saving clock that changed with the old time.
Ooh.
So we had to adjust it every time. Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm sure
there's a ton of questions.
Ton of comments. What about my town? What about this area? Before you ask those questions about what about my town, what about my area, just look at the radar again and tell me who misses this in terms of the potential for storms. Nobody.
Yes. And that's why everybody has to be on.
Now, will everybody see tornado potential?
No.
Because it's all about where the isolated storms happen. But look at the aerial coverage.
Everybody's going to see rain tomorrow.
Especially when this line comes through.
Yep.
So that's the very latest. Now, You've got some models pulled up here. First of all, let's get to some questions, Josh, because I'm sure we got a ton of them.
So I'm going to go to the top here because there are several.
All right. We'll do a quick, fast lightning round.
Let's do a lightning round. It's a little bit tougher on the phone, but we got this.
I know it is.
Jacob said, you think an enhanced risk, 10% tornado risk gets pushed into Northwest Arkansas tomorrow?
Depends on how the instability goes, but I don't think the enhanced risk will make it here. Yeah, you can tilt down more and hold that. Yeah, there you go.
It's hard.
I know it is.
Strange question, but is traveling to an indoor event advised if it's going to be that heavy?
Well, here's the deal. My daughter and my son are going on a church retreat, and they're leaving right during the afternoon, and so they really need to be on the lookout for really, really heavy rain and the potential for basically hydroplaning.
Hydroplaning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have? Okay, we have the NAM 3 kilometer. I was going to show you what the stuff looks like for the HRRR. Oh, by the way, the new 1Z is out. So here's the 0Z. Let's go 12 hours out. Like I said, we're doing this the old school way. So here you saw this on the future track, but what you didn't see is all the different parameters. So what we're going to do is look right before the storms move in, click here, and we'll look at a sounding. And so you'll see this instability, which is questionable because we have a lot of cloud cover and rain. But the 63 over 68 is plenty for this time of the year. But look at the wind shear.
Crazy.
And then you look at this. The critical angle is nearly 90 degrees, and that says marginal tornado. And the reason for that is that lack of instability. So if we keep going forward, now we're saturated, and we already saw the storm. But the wind shear is there for tornado potential.
We were seeing some wind shear yesterday on the time lapse. With the upper level.
It's already there.
Yeah, it's already there. It's already in place.
So if we look at some parameters here, and we look at, let's look at a significant tornado parameter. And so we'll go just west, just a smidge. Look at what happens here. Now you got a little more instability. And this is the reason, because the Cape is the dew points are taking the long way home, which, by the way, I want to bring up that graphic over here. So you can go back to the big board.
I'm gonna see a few more questions.
Get a few more questions. Yep. Obviously, we'll keep doing that.
I just joined in this discussion. I missed most of the discussion about the tornado risk. What is the potential for Northwest Arkansas for tornadoes as the rest of the heightened risk of hail and rain?
It's there.
It's there.
Yeah, that's about the best way we can describe it. And the reason it's there, you can go back and look at.
Let's see. Dan Scoff, could we see another episode of 1996?
April 21st, 1996. That was a little more instability. So it's tough to say. I don't think so, but you can never discount this type of system. It is a strong system, and it's a very large dip in the jet stream.
North of Fayetteville going to see less severe weather?
It's possible, but it's not out of the question that you don't see severe weather. So, all right, big board. Here's the dew points. Watch them surge north. There they go. And look at that right before. See how the deeper yellows, the deeper dew points, the deeper moisture pools in to the southeast of Oklahoma. That's why you have that enhanced risk
of tornadoes.
And here's another thing, too. Models really, really, really struggle with this area because of the terrain. They don't show the dew points surging north. Sometimes they do, though. And it doesn't take much when you have the cold temperatures aloft and you got the wind shear. The threat is definitely there. This is a significant system. Also, the moisture is already kind of racing northward a lot faster.
It's already in place.
Yeah,
it's already setting up.
And so we can do that. We can look at some current soundings.
Somebody said camping at Cass tomorrow. No.
Not a good idea.
Not happening.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No, sir.
So let's look at a sounding, and let's go to, I had a lot of questions about, look at that. Wow. That is a very juicy, what we call loaded gun sounding. Now, the instability isn't great because we have a lot of clouds, and that's kind of moist adiabatic, but this is what we have for a loaded gun. So 79 over 69. And once we start getting the cooler temperatures aloft, which will be advecting coming in from the west right here, you can see those cooler temperatures aloft. That's when things will get interesting. There's another loaded gun. And that's DRT right there. So now Little Rock won't have any moisture. We look at Springfield, it's not deep enough, but it is still there. We just don't have any instability right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, more questions, I imagine.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, if you want to know exactly what's going on with this severe weather setup, look at who posted this. You can zoom in on your name there, Josh.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, I did spend a lot of time making this.
So this is our weather blog. It's also on our app, and so he was putting this all together. It's great job on this article. There's the timing of all this, which, by the way, I don't know if you know, but you can export a video, and then you can put a video in there.
I will do that next time.
Yep.
Yes. That'd be a lot more useful.
There's all our different weather Facebooks. You got Josh Rugger, Zach Gilday, all that stuff. So.
Which Zach will be here tomorrow. Wake up early because you'll get the latest information from him on the timing and everything because we'll have more model data tomorrow morning.
Let's see if on this.
Razorback Homecoming Parade tomorrow at 6 p.m. I told Chelsea this at 7 o'clock. It's not happening.
I don't think it's a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea. I don't see it happening.
Is this my login, by the way? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So back up just a little bit because I want to bring up this tornado target.
What is it going to be like in Fort Worth?
Let's see if they changed. They did. They changed the. They changed this. So there's the storms popping up. Fort Worth could get a strong to violent tornado, but it's one of those systems where Fort Worth can have the tornadoes like October 20th, and then we get it like October 21st.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see, let's look at something here.
And a good example of a fall severe weather setup is that
October 21st.
Yep.
And the instability wasn't as much as people thought it was. In fact, I remember I was astounded how much actual lightning was occurring from this type of system. So there it is, a big, major, long wave trough swinging in. So there's the big trough. And that's exactly what we have right now when we go to our Storm Prediction Center and we look at forecast tools, and then we go to upper air maps, and let's look at the 0Z analysis.
This is looking out the window.
Trough.
Yep.
There's the trough.
Will you be live with updates after the news tonight?
Probably not, because we have to do, this is it. This is what you're going to get for today. We got other stuff that we've got to do.
But you can always go back because there will be a recording of this posted.
Yep.
So if you missed anything, you'll be able to go back and watch some of it.
So here's what it looked like coming in. That's not right. There it is. Wow, that one really dug in.
That thing meant business.
So this one on October 20th didn't really do much, and then all of a sudden went nuts. This one is already digging in and translating eastward. A lot of jet stream energy over us, for sure. If we look at the vorticity, so here's the vorticity. There it is swinging in. Very similar on that, isn't it?
Very, very much so.
Now, that one was a little bit, but notice how it flings in. You can see the energy and how it flings in. If we go to this, oh, we don't have it loaded yet. Let me go in there.
Not quite.
Hold on just a sec. That's right. I didn't. I was trying to put everything together. All right, hold on just a sec. Here's an example of the 18Z sounding. There's the vorticity.
Wow.
And watch it fling in. And then it rips northeastward. Good night. That's exactly what happened with the other one. So it's digging, and then it becomes negative tilt as it flings in. I think they're going to go enhanced in Northwest Arkansas. I think the enhanced will shift northward. I think the moderate risk will
be introduced.
Will clip LaFleur County.
I agree.
I really do.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a moderate. Now, whether it's a moderate in the River Valley, probably not at 6Z.
Not in the morning.
Not in the 6Z outlook, but in the 13Z, which is updated about 8 o'clock. This is the last time we get an update at 8 o'clock before it goes to 7 o'clock, which would be nice.
Yes.
And the update is at midnight instead of 1 a.m. because of daylight saving time.
Helps us out to get a little extra sleep because we'll need it.
Yeah. So here's some other models. Here's the ARW. We'll look at and so I'm sure we're getting more questions. Let's look at the composite reflectivity. And so here it is coming in. And all right, so here it is, isolated cells. Several isolated cells. That's 5 o'clock. So the ARW has it coming in. Wow, look at that. That's a big isolated cell.
That is a nasty one. That one means business. Well, somebody said, you probably have said this already, but I just got home and trying to plan my trip to Tulsa from Salem Springs tomorrow. What time would be a safe time to return before the storm hits?
Oh. 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That's what I think. This is 3 in the afternoon right here.
8 p.m. flight tomorrow safe?
No. I mean, it might be safe, but you're going to be delayed. Is it out of X and A?
It doesn't say. 8 p.m.
flights tomorrow
safe.
No, where does it say? Oh, 8 p.m. flights. Megan, if that's a recent question, yes. At least moderate, maybe 15% hatch. So Josh Myers says that. Yes.
Now, Josh, you going to have a stream up tomorrow?
Let's look. Ask that. Yeah, let me pull it back because I'm going to look at the turbulence forecast, but I have to look at.
Yeah, she said X and A.
Oh, man.
Might be a bumpy one, to say the least.
So it only goes out 12 hours. That's not helpful. Yeah, that only goes out 12 hours. But here's that energy that's swinging in. And so you'll notice that this, by the way, is what time? This is weird. I think there's another one. There's a better one.
Trash.
Here we go.
When do you think it will move out by?
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. They already had moderate turbulence because of the jet stream. Whoa! Look at that. Severe turbulence. In Kansas.
Rare.
So not extreme, but severe. Yeah, look at that.
Oh man.
Big time
turbulence.
So there's gonna be some turbulence. I would hate to fly tomorrow. That's for sure, especially with this system coming in. But there will be delays. Future map. Let's see here. Oh, this goes out farther. Oh, subscription required. I don't have a subscription. Fear of flying.
Somebody said it's a booked flight to Orlando, 8:20 takeoff.
Wow.
Delays.
There will be delays.
There will be delays because even if the storms are beginning to move out at X and A, you're going to have to go east.
You're going to have to fly into them.
Yeah. When they're really going to be cranking up.
And they're going to be high, too. I mean, they're going to be – look at the equilibrium level here. We're talking I'm
supposed to land at X and A at 5:30. Can't wait. Puke emoji.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So the equilibrium level on this, here we go, 10,000, 11,000 meters. So about close to 11 kilometers above the ground.
Joshua Myers says guys should compare with the November 30th, 2018 synoptic setup I chased.
Oh, yeah.
Would be curious to see.
Good idea. That was the one that had a Fort Smith tornado.
Mm-hmm.
So November 3rd, that was big time. That was the day that my wife was having a Christmas party, and as our guests were arriving, I was walking out.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
That's
long wave trough swinging in. There it is. Now, something's weird on this. It jumps. It does. It jumps. It goes from 12Z to 2. I knew it. Look, it goes from 12Z November 30th to December 2nd. Okay, hold on just a second.
In the aviation industry, we call that light chop. LOL.
Light chop. All right, so there we go. What?
Why does it want to do that?
Oh no, let's go November 30th.
It wants to do its inner OBS.
Oh, because there is no November 30th first.
Ah.
Okay, let's see. I don't think that's the reason, though. Well, there's the system. That's still December. It's skipping forward. That's all right. I got another way to look at it. Here we go.
Joshua Meyer said much of Lake Tenkiller had damage. Many homes and boat docks leveled.
Oh, yeah.
Tornado.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Courtney, this is 2018.
Yep, November 30th, 2018. So if we look at, I'll show you the surface composite map. So there's the front coming through. There's a low. So it's a low that's just north of us, and then the front coming through right there. And then that front returns back to the north as a warm front. There's the low. And then there's the front coming in, and then there's all the storms that popped up. So, and that was in the evening. So let's look at the, well, clearly that didn't work. So let's look at this. There's the jet. Oh, that's a negative tilt ski jump. That's actually a little bit worse. That's a pretty intense system. I remember that. The lightning was just off the
highly
charts.
Electrified.
But if we look at what the jet stream's supposed to look like on this,
it's like Thor.
Yeah, it really was. It was those storms. But man, that is a lot of vorticity. There's the jet. See, it still has that positive tilt, and then it goes slightly neutral, and then it rips northeast when it gets east of us. So it's almost like the energy flings out as it's getting east of us, but still, that's a really impressive jet quadrant. Now, here's another thing too. We've got the jet. If we were to take this jet and divide it with jet quadrant theory, so I'll overlay it like this. So we take this and we split the jet up like this with jet quadrant. Then you have rising motion on this side and this side. This is called the right entrance region. This is called the left exit region because your flow is this way. So this is really fast rising motion due to the ageostrophic wind. This is really fast rising motion due to the ageostrophic wind, which is basically causing lots of rising motion. So in the right entrance region of the jet, right there, that's where you have rapid rising motion. And that is exactly why these storms explode when you go to look at the storms. Here, we'll show you. We'll load her up. So here you go. Quiet, 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 and then kaboom. Man, that is a lot of stuff. And then look, there's the stratiform rain that develops behind it.
You know what it kind of reminds me of?
There's going to be some snow, I think. There's going to be some wintry precipitation in Kansas on the backside of this system.
You know what that kind of reminds me of, that what you just did?
What? The jet quadrant?
Yeah. Kind of like a batter, right?
Okay.
Getting in position, right? Like almost like
Show me what you're talking about here.
So it's almost like you know how a batter, is in position like this, right? They're getting ready to hit. It's almost
Hold
like
on just a sec.
So it's almost like you're standing at the plate, ball's coming at you, right? And it's like you're transferring your weight back, getting ready for the pitch. Extending your weight forward and accelerating out.
Yep.
Like that.
That's what that system's doing.
That's when you hit a home run. And that's exactly what the system's doing.
And that's exactly what happened with the first pitch for the Phillies.
Schwarber.
Yeah, Schwarber just crushed it.
He wasn't too happy about that no-hitter yesterday. So he was like, okay, I'll end that right there.
Yeah, we won't say what he thought when he was asked that question.
He said snow.
It's also another thing, too. It reminds me of this one as well. So transition, transfer weight. Happens in everything, every sport. Softball. What do? They go they go like, first of all, they do that little twist thing.
Yeah, it gets a little bit more.
Take a little step, and then they go like this, and then they release the ball as the arm is coming up. That's exactly what's happening with this negative tilt when it flings out. And you can see right here, there's the ball that's winding up, and now the step forward and then flings the system out. So I don't know. There's really not much else we can show.
Show the NAM 3 kilometer, which has a little bit more of that significant tornado parameter.
Okay, NAM 3 kilometer, and so there you see a little more of the significant tornado parameter. It's not off the charts for us. We'll go to forecast loop.
It's mainly shear driven. Usually it's cape driven.
Yeah, this is all
highly shear driven.
All shear driven. So we'll go like this. Just step it through, and we'll go right here. 1.1. That's 0 to 1 kilometer, right? EHI. Look at that tour. Ooh. Now the only thing is, like, this is not the actual parcel process curve. The actual parcel process curve would be like this. It would be very, very skinny cape, which is really like 690. That's still enough, though.
That's still enough.
And the 0 to 3 kilometer cape is 27. That's enough as well. What are we at?
Roby.
7-inning stretch.
Okay.
Roby just said, "Why did I picture a cartoon version of Dan and Josh swinging bats at a tornado?"
I was also told to show you. That's a picture from Denver.
Okay, so this is a type of system that's coming in where they have a ton of snow.
Yeah.
This is a big system.
This is a powerful system.
It's from the man.
Look at this. Look at this guy.
Ooh.
This is it coming in.
Look at all that vorticity.
Oh, man.
Boom.
Yeah, that's big time. Oh, another thing, too. Look at this. We didn't show this. We didn't show this. Watch this. There it is.
And that's hard to do on this map.
Yeah, it's really hard. Look, that's the ARPX WX Tornado version 3.2 with the European, with this F5 weather, and this
Southeast Arkansas is going to get hit.
Dude,
especially hard.
The high,
Southwest,
the high is extremely rare to see.
Yeah,
seeing high on a map.
So there's going to be some stuff, and look at how that increases and then races to the
almost
east.
See the triple point.
Yeah, so look at the southeasterly component to the flow, right there. Southeasterly component that causes that wind shear. That also provides the 0 to 3 kilometer helicity, 0 to 1 as well. I mean, basically the wind shear lines up. If we come back over here, there's the hodograph. Now, sometimes this is smooth because of the model, but if it was a straight line and your storm motion to the right, by the way, 41 knots, these storms are going to be moving. So they are going to be hauling.
Here's the important question, Dan, that was just asked. What tie will you be wearing tomorrow?
The tornado tie.
Tornado tie's coming out.
It's coming out tomorrow.
Yep. And this man right here is going to make the magic happen. Yep. Best director in the country right there. Yes. And you got your golden brick yesterday too at Trunk or Treat.
I did.
Yes.
And Star Wars, may the force be with him.
Yes.
We got this.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Well, I think that about covers it because we got to do a run through. We got to do some practice because this will be Josh's first big severe weather event.
Yes.
So I know he's gonna.
Kyle Schwarber.
See ya. But just to let you know, we updated Mega Doppler. Mega Doppler now is GR2 version 3. If you'll notice, we have more warning types. If we go to our warning settings, look at this. This is actually the old one. Stand by.
Somebody said not the hook echo tie. Tornado tie.
I'm bringing the hook echo tie, but I might not. No, that's these.
Tornado tie.
Tornado tie. It's QLCS tornadoes. That's what we'll see.
Yes.
We're not going to see the raging supercell tornadoes, but embedded supercells will be possible.
Not the textbook supercell.
Nope. All right, let's see here.
Which is typical.
I don't think they had the right one. Yeah, this is the right one. Notice the font's different. The lines are different. The boundaries are different. We come into here and we go to warning settings. Look at all the different warnings that we have now. We have the considerable. We have the destructive severe thunderstorm, which I wouldn't imagine is going. There's going to be a few of those issued.
Hey, I got an important question here.
Yeah.
Just in case, are there any public tornado shelters in Fayetteville? I have 2
No.
toddlers and a baby, so I got to be prepared.
No public shelters.
Mm-hmm.
The only public shelter systems in the River Valley. Pea Ridge has a public shelter. Farmington also has a public shelter. There's nothing in Fayetteville from what I know. And Prairie Grove, I believe has one. If they don't anymore, I'm not sure. But I actually did something where we tried to do the public shelter thing, and they do that in Oklahoma. But sometimes it's just best to just hunker down at your location. And you want to do what's called duck, downstairs under something, center a house, keep away from windows. So get as low as you possibly can, get into underneath pillows, blankets, and mattress. You want to get into the center of your building, center of your location, such as as many walls in between you and the outside as possible, and keep away from windows. So that's duck for you. So any other pressing questions?
Somebody asked if the River Valley radar is working. It is now operational and upgraded
Fort
and
Smith
ready to roll.
is upgraded. The pedestal's good. The radar's good. Hopefully it doesn't crash.
Yeah.
Which, Murphy's Law. It can't happen.
Yes.
Sure. All right, guys.
I think we're ready to go.
Yep, we're ready to go. We're gonna fire up the iPad, and we're gonna get this going here. So do some practice. Tomorrow we'll be doing plenty of streams. We'll be doing plenty of updates. Make sure you download our Weather Authority app. I know a lot of people will have questions. You'll feel it tomorrow. You'll wake up and go, "Ooh, this is a little humid.
Ominous.
It's not good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
All right.
and Zach Gilday will have the latest early in the morning tomorrow, starting at 5 on KNWA.
Yeah, there won't be much on the radar at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, there's not going to be a whole lot. But
Latest models, severe risk, everything.
Yep. You'll have all that stuff.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we got to go. So thanks for watching. If you watched the replay, thank you so much. If you made it this long, I commend you.
Yes.
You're officially a weather geek.
Yes. Welcome to the club.
How many people do we have on right now?
We still got 117.
All right.
That's pretty substantial. We maxed out at like 400.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Be safe. We'll get you through it.